This is Dave from cheapbooks.com. I am playing World of Tanks. The tank I am playing is a Type 1 Chi-Hei. It's a Japanese tank. The map is called El Haluf. I haven't played this map very often since they've made the changes, which include that little mound in the center. But I'm willing to give it a go. So there's always tanks that run out here, usually autoloaders. And I'm going to see if I can do some damage to them. That's a tough tank right there.
Critical hit. Ready to fire. Penetration. Track hit. Enemy armor is damaged.
I hope he doesn't have a buddy.
Critical hit. Penetration. Enemy armor is hit. Penetration. The commander is hurt. He can't focus. We're done for. Everyone get out.
Now, one of the things that I was doing is that I was trying as much as I could to get around to his far side and to get into this little crevice here. So if he had any buddies out there taking shots at me, I don't know if he did or not, to make it more difficult for them to hit me. But it came down to that last shot, and unfortunately it was his shot that did the final damage, which is sad because I wanted to keep on shooting people. But this is what's important. What's important is how many penetrations you get in the game. If you get around 10 penetrations, usually you'll be the top ranked on your team for experience. And I probably got 5 or 6 penetrations, which means I expect to be ranked at least halfway in the game. So I expect that even though it didn't work out for me, I think in the end I'll probably rank halfway on my team. So we've got the Covenanter here, and he's got his eye on, I thought it was a T-69, I'm not sure. Let's go to where the action is. Got another Covenanter. Obviously there's a tank right in front of him that he apparently didn't see. Yeah, he missed that tank right in front of him. As you can see, all those tanks are pointing away from the Covenanter, so he can go in and take shots and hide, no problem. He's got to back up a little. He only wants to be enough to hit that T1 Heavy. The T1 Heavy is preoccupied with someone else. But unfortunately, he went too far ahead. Probably because he's using the automatic... He really should go forward. There's no reason for him to hide right now, but his team really needs him right now. If he waits, he only endangers himself. He should hit that KV-1S. He's only got 1 hit point left. As you can see, the T1 Heavy knows that he's there. He really needs to go. Come on, go and get that KV-1S. Go take a shot at him. Don't worry, they're not pointing at you. The longer he waits, the worse it is for him. Because as you can see, once his allies are out of the game, he could be up against a lot of tanks. The Covenanter should have easily defeated a cruiser, but that's exactly what happened. He waited way too long. He allowed the cruiser to advance. The cruiser came after him and killed him. And if he had gone in immediately, killed that KV-1S or taken some shots at that T1 Heavy, that cruiser probably would have stayed back in fear, and he'd probably still be alive. I thought there was a DW2 somewhere. So the Cruiser 3 is still alive, and I guess he's just taking wild shots. The team really needs to regroup. There's safety in numbers, you know. There's safety if they get together with the rest of the guys on the team. Although what he's doing isn't such a bad maneuver. He's going around the side here. If he waits a little bit, he could hit that other tank in the back or the side. Would be really lucky for him. They really should regroup. Well, at least two of the guys are near each other. Looks like there's one guy left, and it's a Matilda. Matilda's a strong tank. Matilda can take a lot of damage.
The loader bought the farm. We can't reload as fast.
So you've got a tank at F1. So there's one that's headed to the cap. He's got to take out that T1 Heavy. T1 Heavy, I would say, is a more powerful tank. But he's got to do something. If he takes his time, then they're definitely going to get capped. The T1 Heavy has a lot of guns to choose from. The Matilda 4 only has one gun. So we don't know what gun the T1 Heavy is, but I'm guessing that
Critical engine damage.
turn the tank around. You should turn your tank around. Yeah, that wasn't a smart move, but...
Our main gun is damaged. It's working, but not very well.
So he should have turned it.
But it's not going to hold up its speed.
He should have turned the tank around because his stronger armor would have been facing that tank down below him. Oh, it looks like that cruiser came in. There was a chance, you know, it was close. He could have taken those guys out. So let's see how we did. As I predicted, I was approximately halfway, even though I was probably the first one out of the game. Let's see how he did for damage. Damage about the same. If you kill a tank, usually you're pretty good. Your goal should be, if you kill 2 tanks, you're probably going to be up at the top for your team, especially if you do it every game. Now it's time for a refreshing Diet Dr. Pepper. The Cliff Map. This is not one of my favorite maps, however, I will definitely play it. Usually what I do is I go along the west and I spot for my team, but I think they may have changed the map or something to make it easier to go up and down, so you get flanked very easily. If I had a fast tank, I would climb that mountain. I don't know if I can do that, but I'm going to head for that mountain. If I can climb that mountain, maybe that's what I'll do.
Let's go.
Climbing the mountain has a lot of advantages. You get a great view. You can shoot at lots of people. You can spot lots of people. And this game, it's very critical. If your team needs to find somebody, you really want somebody at the top of that mountain where that lighthouse is. There's a good chance that Lux is headed that way. But if 2 of us go up, it will be better. I don't want to go all the way up at the top. I just want to go high enough to get a view of any of the tanks that are nearby. And certainly one of the other light tanks from the enemy team is going to head up the mountain, so I'll back up this Lux guy, help him get up to the top, hopefully. You definitely want to be the first one up. Go over here, do some spotting. So I spotted a couple tanks, but I'm going to keep on moving to avoid the artillery.
Ready to fire. Penetration.
Too bad I didn't get to finish that guy off.
Where'd they go?
Now, my plan is not to go all the way up to the top, because we got another tank there. It's just going to cause confusion. So I'm going to hang out here. tick people off.
Target acquired.
Such as that
Enemy is hit.
KV-1.
Penetration. Enemy armor is damaged. We didn't even scratch them.
He's not so happy.
Penetration. Penetration. I don't see the target.
I'm going to back up in case we've got any artillery to deal with.
Target acquired. We didn't penetrate their armor.
Well, unfortunately, this guy's in my way.
We didn't penetrate their armor. Enemy armor is damaged. Where'd they go?
Got me into a better position, that's for sure. We're doing good, 6-0. Killer game.
Penetration. Ready to fire. Enemy armor is damaged. Where'd they go? Target acquired. Enemy armor is hit.
Let's keep on nailing them.
Penetration. Target lost.
He's behind a rock. So it looks like a lot of these tanks are going to be out of my range here. I think it's the time to leave. I want to get in the battle, so I'm going to head that way. And we're going to swarm on the enemy. I think there was a Nashorn. Oh, he's dead. The BDR G1B, and there's 2 artillery units, and there's a tank destroyer somewhere.
Ready to fire. Enemy armor is hit. I don't see the target.
Come
Target
on.
acquired. Enemy armor is damaged. Where'd they go?
Okay. So that's the game. That was a pretty good game for me. Let's see how we did. I hit a lot of tanks. Wow, that's pretty cool. And it looks like I got a reward. It says a small repair kit as a reward. I wonder what this means. Wargaming Zone Tier 4. So they gave me something here. That's pretty cool. So let's see how we did. Team score. I came out number 2 for experience. I was number 2 for damage. Apparently I got some sort of a medal, which of course I deserve. So I had 17 hits and 14 penetrations. And as I've said before, if you can get 10 penetrations, you'll be up near the top. And 14 definitely is enough to get you into the top 2 positions. And the game is about penetrations. Penetrations means that you have to have a good gun and you have to have good ammunition. So that is the Type 1 Chihei. Let's see if I can upgrade it. And it looks like it's a little bit too early to upgrade it to the next tank, although I could do it for 75 cents. I could get into this tank right here. I won't have to play this tank anymore. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to pay the 75 cents, and I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that tank that I currently have. I'm going to purchase this Chinu. I'm going to purchase it without the crew. So I'm going to go to my garage here, and I'm going to send all these guys to the barracks. And I'm going to sell this tank. You want to send all of your complex equipment to the depot. You have to type in the sale price. So now I have a new tank here, and this tank needs camouflage, and perhaps he needs this tank gun rammer. The tank gun rammer doesn't cost me anything, I already have it, but I might want to use it on another tank, so I'm going to hold off on that. Let's see what we got here. First you want to go to your research to see if you can put a better gun on this. For example, I could use this radio right here. Let's see if I can purchase and mount. Okay, so let me skip over one of these radios. I got a better radio. I didn't have to research that one. And let's see what these guns are. Actually, there's a better way, which is to look from the garage. Over here you can see all the guns, and what do we want? We've got the experimental 57mm. Doesn't look too good. You really want the one that's up at the top, which is 155 penetration with the premium rounds. That's really what I want to get. But this one isn't so bad. 131 penetration. So I'm going to stick with this gun. I'm going to equip this. I like to use the premium rounds because I want to get penetrations, and penetrations advances you in the game faster. We're going to use a few of the regular rounds. Let's see if we can do a third, a third, and a third. It's a little bit cheaper. Or maybe we could do something like this. I will repair automatically, resupply automatically, and the same here. I'm going to use the small repair kit first. And I will use the large repair kit next, and I'm going to try the large first aid kit on this, which is a little bit different than what I've done in the past. You have to be careful what you pick. For example, if you pick this top one, Onigiri, you pay for that. It's 25 cents or 20,000 silver, but you can only use it once. You only use it for one battle. And then you have to pay for it after every battle. So you might not want to do that. I think I'm happy with this. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to put on some camouflage for 7 days. I'll put on that standard Japanese camouflage. And I'm going to move my crew over. Let's see what we got for crew. We've got that woman, this gentleman, and this gentleman, and this gentleman, and this one. They have to be at 100% in order to have their skills level up. So I'm going to go to training for the current vehicle at 100%, and I'm going to train them. I'll do it for the next guy. Current vehicle, train. Training, current vehicle. It costs me $1 for every guy that I have to train. And obviously when there are discounts, sometimes they do it for half price. If you're holding off on those days, it's probably a good day to do it. Okay, so that is the tank. It's good to go. If I wanted to, I could buy some of these other pieces of equipment like the improved ventilation. I could put this gun rammer on. I could get the coated optics. I would say the coated optics is my second choice. Even though it's a slow tank, you still want to have it, get a little bit of advantage. And the gun rammer is kind of important, but you really want to play the game first before you decide if you get the gun rammer. Let's look at my gun. 25 rounds a minute. This doesn't need a gun rammer. This is going to reload real fast. So the gun rammer would be a waste. And I could probably use that on another tank. Let's see what else we got here. This tank could probably use that gun rammer, but he has insufficient load capacity. Too bad. He needs those tracks down here. So I'm going to have to play a few games to get him those tracks, but that gun rammer is probably going to be his. Let's see anything else. When you have a lot of tanks, you got a lot of equipment you got to buy, and that equipment costs a lot of money. One thing that you can do is you can share some of the equipment. For example, these binocs, the binocular telescope, you only need to buy one, and you can remove it and put it on another tank, and it doesn't cost you anything. So I'm going to go back to this guy over here. Like I said, he's got a rapid fire gun, so it doesn't make sense to put on the tank gun rammer because he's already fast enough. You probably want the coated optics, and then pretty much anything else. Okay, so that is, I believe it was the Type 1 Chihei, and now the Chi Nu.